Devin Martin here, and this is your transit analysis for the first week of January 2020. Happy New Year, everybody. I'm sending you guys so much love in your transition of closing out a decade and some pretty powerful times in a really intense and tough year in 2019. So we're going to break down the transits a little bit for you guys to give you a little bit of a better understanding of what's going on as we begin the new year. I recently just posted a how to benefit from and interpret my transit videos, so make sure to check that out. I'll link in the description below how to look at the live transits, how to interpret mine, and also how to connect with me, how to book a reading, and all sorts of fun stuff coming up in 2020. So make sure to check that out. So as always, we focus on the Sun and Earth calculation because that is the main imprint that we all experience. And the Sun is what illuminates us, is what gives us the life force, and the Earth is what grounds and balances us, or it's how we evolve through the transit theme. So we have the Sun in the 38 and we have the Earth in the 39, and it's in the root center, just like last week. So there's going to be a lot of root theme, and the nodes are still in the same place as last week, with the 58 and the 52. So make sure to check out last week's transit if you haven't already. And actually, I've hit an exact 6-month mark since I first made a transit video, because the first time I made it, the 39 was in the Sun. So now it's it's opposite now. So if you want to also understand these themes I'm talking about now, I'd recommend going back to the first ever transit report that I made. So what is the 38 and the 39? Well, first I just want to remind you guys about this root pressure, because it's this fuel, and then next week we're also going to be in the root as well. So there's a lot of fuel the first couple of weeks. That's why, most of the time we have these fuel for New Year's resolutions and all that fun stuff as we kick off the new year. So let's journey together to kind of sustain this momentum and do it right this time, instead of making a bunch of goals and then not following through and feeling like crap. So the 38 is the gate of the fighter, and the gate of the fighter is a pretty powerful one. I have it, and almost everybody in my family does, and it's all about preserving individual integrity and knowing what to fight for. And it is in the channel of struggle and stubbornness, and it's really about overcoming obstacles and overcoming things to maintain our individual fight in our life. So a big question this week is, what is worth fighting for in my life? What is worth fighting for in this decade? And it's very individual. It's all about self-empowerment. So I think and I feel that a lot of this work is around really letting go of the chains or the old patterns or what other people expect of us, and really getting down to the core of what is my individual fight and what is worth persevering through, what is worth continuing even if there's really big obstacles in my way. And sometimes those things find us by accident. We don't always choose those things. Sometimes they choose us, and because of our perseverance to continue, even if we may want to stop or quit, that kind of thing, then that's a great way to know what that is in your life. So for example, with human design, for example, doing this work, living this work, healing through this work has been one of the most intense experiences of my life. And I've wanted to give up so many times. It's been really brutal, and I'm so happy that I haven't actually given up, but I've always been pushed. I've always been pushed to have to ask the question, like, is this worth it? Do I keep wanting to go down this path? Do I believe in this work? Can I go back? Can I do something else? So there's always it's always about individual integrity, like how do we preserve our individuality to move forward in the world and to eventually rise, right? And have the instinct and the intuition to know what is worth fighting for. So over time, I've had to use this warrior power to sustain and to persevere through every freaking obstacle that has come my way, to keep going. And it's really about this kind of instinct or psychic attunement to know when to fight or not, when to struggle or not. Now the 38 is the gate of provocation. So right now we have two activations. The 38 is pointing up at the spleen, which is like activating like, is this healthy to fight for? Is this worth fighting for? Am I going to continue to fight for this thing? You know, it's the intuitive kind of psychic awareness in the moment to know what to struggle for, what to keep fighting for, what to keep rising for. And then we get the 38 that's pointing to the solar plexus, which is this emotional spirit. It's pointing up to the emotional spirit. And the 39 is provoking. It's going, hey, what are you made out of? It provokes the spirit. It's this really dynamic, provoking energy that starts pointing and poking and triggering the emotional spirit. And it's saying, are you ready for this fight? Do you have the spirit for it? Or who else or what others or what systems is the spirit that is worth kind of moving this way for and provoking? You know, and it's all about this dynamic energy that's trying to move forward. So we have perseverance and a dynamic energy in the root. This is strong. This is warrior power, guys. Now, obviously, there's like these general themes in our society where we all carry these themes based off of holidays and dates and things like that. So, for example, 6 months ago, when this was reversed, this dynamic energy, the highest essence of the 39 is liberation, and the 38 is independence and honor in this individual fight. And guess what was on that date? Independence Day in the States. So we watch these global themes, right? So in the beginning of the year, we all have this, what are we going to fight for? So let's get smart about it in 2020, because when we transition into a decade, it's not just 2020, guys. It's a 7-year cycle. It's a decade. So we're starting at a foundation here. So in 2020, what I recommend from my own work that I've been doing is get to the foundation. And the root is very foundational. It's like what carries us. In the body, it's our legs, our trunk, the base of our spine. So it's like, what is rooting us and can give us the momentum and the firepower and the fuel and the fight and the warrior kind of dynamic energy to keep me going on something. And checking in with our instincts and our intuition and also the emotional center and going, is this healthy? Is this healthy? Is this bringing me where I want to go? Is it going to protect me? Is it going to bring good? Is this worth my individual fight and my individual rise? And then we have the 39 on the other side that's saying, is my spirit aligned with this? Do I have clarity that these things I can actually do, that I actually want to do? Because we can have a lot of mental ideas about what we want, and sometimes through contemplating we can come to mental clarity. But right now it's important to get into the body to have body clarity about what we can truly sustain moving forward, which is a very different trip. So what I would recommend this week is the root is very much about embodiment. We want to relieve the pressure in healthy ways. So with this activation of a lot of root pressure going on with the nodes and the sun and the earth, it's important that we are physically channeling this warrior energy, this dynamic fight, our individual spirit being liberated. It's like this push. It's really important that we don't get lost in the pressure and go, 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 but we still take the wisdom of the nodes in the 58 and the 52 and come down, breathe, sit still, assess what makes me feel alive, what's bringing me joy, what is my reality, instead of running around with our head cut off. And to really root down and to feel into it and to channel it in ways that are healthy. So for example, dancing is wonderful. I just spent the morning dancing, and it was just so empowering to physically clear out these centers, when they're open, because we absorb so much and we build up so much emotions and things like that. The body needs to just move, whether that's going for a walk or doing yoga or something like that. So in the beginning of the new year, if you get really jammed up in your head or full of pressure around what your resolutions are, what you want looking forward, what's worth it, where you're going to channel your fight, where you're going to use as fuel to start off the new year, make sure that you're grounding it and making sure that you're not pressurized by mental pressure to know and to just get things done and do everything quickly, but make sure that you're breathing and you're mindful, and that if you do feel jammed up, move, turn on some music and dance, go for a walk, do some jumping jacks, whatever you need to do to release some of that root pressure so you can actually feel into clarity. Also, this activates the spleen. So the spleen will get lit up, and it will help keep your immune system safe as you are continuing to move forward and don't kind of burn out with all this fuel. So when we're looking at the bigger picture, we're looking at so first I'll say that there's no consistent Life Force channels this week. There's only one on the last day, on the 5th of January, and it is the Design of a Thinker, and it's the 2461 from the head to the ajna. And it's all about this awareness, and it's all about inner truth. So we got Pluto and inner truth. That's really like the underworld coming in to give us some insights around this occult knowledge or inner truth within ourselves, and we might feel a pressure to really break through and to have a new way of thinking about our life instead of continuing the old ways, because the 24, which will come in the moon, is going to have this driving force of addiction, and it's probably going to test us and say, hey, are you going to repeat this loop? Are you going to keep doing this same pattern, this same limiting belief that's been holding you back for months, years, decades, your whole life, millennia, lifetimes? Or are you going to stop, let the pressure come through, contemplate it, go around and around until there's a crack, until you recognize the limitations, and then can break through and create a new insight. So on January 5th, what I would recommend is to spend some time in silence. Make sure you can think alone. Make sure you can have, use the moon's power to really bring something radically new into your life. I know this really well because I have the 24 as my life's work. And when we just allow the insights to come, and we allow the silence, and we allow the mind to go in its loops, and we watch what it says, then all of a sudden an inner truth can come through, and we can mentally become more clear around these things that we're running around doing or that we're trying to figure out. So what I would predict is that the closing out of the decade is actually going to take around 6 months. So take your time, but this is about completing things. It's about closing out all those unfinished things in the last decade so that we can properly transition into this next 7-year cycle and 10-year cycle that we're going through right now. So through that, there's going to be a lot of pressure. The pressure is asking you, what is your individual path? Not what other people are asking of you, not the conditioning that you've absorbed and is programmed in you that's yelling at you, telling you should do all sorts of things or the way it is supposed to be. No, it's your way. This is your year. For me, and a lot of my work is about this reclamation. That's why I'm going to be teaching a course on this soon. It's like we got to reclaim all we are. Reclaim it as individual paths. So as we start 2020, what's most important of the foundation of self is that we have a solid anchoring in who we are, where we're going, and what we want, and how we're going to channel our energy, creativity, love, life force, all the things. And if that's not solid, then all the relationships, all the other stuff that comes above that, it's not going to be as much of alignment. So in the first week of 2020, get your shit, the foundation, root down what is important. What do I actually have the energy to fight for? Who am I as an individual? What do I know without a doubt that I am rooted in and that is me, no matter what? What principles or systems or anything in life, whether it's people or whether it's your work or whether it's your children, whatever it is, what do I know without a doubt that this is me, and this is me in honor, and that I will fight for this, and no matter what, that my higher honor, my warrior comes out with my work, my life, my family, whatever it is. It's about the liberation of this spiritual warrior. Okay, this is maybe like we're in physical reality, guys, but if you're watching this, you're probably a spiritual warrior. And if you've gotten your ass kicked 1,000 times and still gotten up, this is the gift of perseverance. To keep going over the obstacles, even when there's a landslide coming in your face, and you still get up and you still keep going, even if it takes you down for a little bit, okay? So let's channel this warrior energy and come to mental clarity and look at all those boulders in the way of our life and go, I'm done with that. That's staying in the decade. Bye. Last decade. Bye. Yeah, that pattern, I'm breaking that. I'm going to invent something new. That's not my truth. This is my way. And there's also this deafness to the 38 where it's there's 3 deafness gates that are individual, and it's basically to protect individuality. It's to protect the individual spirit and the individual warrior from hearing a bunch of shit and being influenced by detrimental forces or people that compromise our life. So it's actually a built-in deafness to not hear a lot of things so that we can stay on our perseverance track and maintain our individual integrity against opposition. So right now it's like whatever is opposing your direction in your fight, whenever it's like, do you have the honor, the perseverance, and the individual integrity to either get out of the way, jump over it, crash into it, whatever it is, heal it, reprogram it, slay it your way, whatever that is, that's what the energy is coming in the sun. Now the shadow is struggle, and it's struggle and stress. We're getting a lot of struggle and stress here. So if you feel like you're really jammed up and you're really stressed, get out of your head and get back into the warriorness in your body. Get into physical activity that activates and reminds you of the warrior you are and how strong you are. It doesn't matter what type you are. It doesn't matter what your design is. We all have this stuff in us. We all have power in us. So when the root comes in and we have a highly activated root week, it's like we got to get in the body. We got to assess our needs. We got to stabilize. We got to move. We got to break up that stress energy and use it for good. So if you're feeling mentally pressurized, trying to figure this stuff out, get in the body. I say stop, drop, and dance. I'm like, I swear by it. And just move around, shake it up, clear up your head, clear up your body, and just keep coming back. What is worth fighting for? What brings out the spiritual warrior in me? What is important right now? What is important right now? Now, also what's going on in the transits is there's a lot of other individual empowerment themes, and also an importance of self-care, about being selfish first so that we can truly be altruistic, right? It's like we can't really give unless we're feeling solid. It's harder to show up when our foundation is rocked, right? So it's like self-care, what's important, let's get down to the root of things. And when we start 2020, let's just get down to the core of what's important. We may have like so many big dreams, and that's beautiful, write them all down too. But what is most important? What is most important? And when you get down to the nitty-gritty of that, even if your foundation cracks in the process, when you get down to what is important, what is actually important, that is where the gold will come from. Because when you get your needs met with what's really important, that's when we really heal, that's when we really shine, that's when we really rise, that's when we really succeed, that's when all the good shit happens, guys. So what is important for 2020? What is important for the next 7 years? And what is important for the next decade? And if you get down to the core of that, the core of your individual warrior independence, but what is important for you in all the levels of your life, and you get down to the core of that and focus on getting those needs met in whatever way that needs to come to you, that is when the warrior will shine. So I hope that this was helpful for you guys. Happy New Year's. I'm sending you guys a lot of love, and make sure to stay in touch with me. Would love to hear your love in the comments if this resonated with you. And make sure to check out the description for more helpful links associated with this video. And yeah, Happy New Year's. Sending you guys so much love. Bye for now.